Good evening and welcome back to JSR. And after an absolute chaos at Baku, we head to a completely different kind of challenge at the Qatar Grand Prix in the desert at Doha. Last time out in Azerbaijan, we saw one of the most dramatic races of the season. Multiple safety cars, loads of incidents, and the field constantly being reset as well. But through all that, there was one driver who drove away from it all, and his name was Kick. Kick delivered a masterclass last week, and it was really impressive as well with outright pace, while other people struggled with restarts, tight temperature swings, and constant pressure. Kick simply just drove away from the rest of the field, and blistering pace it was indeed. Constant execution when the race finally settled. Nobody could catch with him, even when the DRS was broken, because Olai, I think, struggled to connect with the DRS. But we are here at the Qatar Grand Prix, and this track is certainly going to be difficult for every single driver indeed. And you're on the throttle majority of the way too, and the tyre wear is going to be absolutely brutal as well, especially with the tyre temperature, with the thermal degradation too. My name is Indigo, or Jamie Morris, and alongside me tonight is Ivan. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you very much. Yeah, we are back with JSR, and I am back with Jamie as a duo, as a commentator duo. Yeah, I'm very excited to do comms with you once again, and we'll see how this race is gonna turn out tonight.
Exactly. I was just testing the stream to see if your voice was coming through, and it is indeed. So everything's working
Good.
on our end. As we go on board then with the first driver out there in this qualified session, which is going to be PR1 Dark in the Alpine. So let's go on board with him to see how he does. Now this track is notorious, especially with track limits as well, as coming through the triple right hander, the tyres taking absolute punishment, especially on the left road tyre as well. So a lot of drivers having to do some time management too in the race coming up. But luckily it's a full grid with all 20 drivers here, as it has pretty much been the norm this season. But the Kick Sauber has overtaken the Alpine driver. I think that's Olai in P60. Olai has been quite impressive so far this season, but yeah, he has struggled in terms of long pace. He does have qualifying pace, he is up there, but just can't seem to piece all the elements together to try and get the results he needed as well with the podiums and wins. But in the championship, it is Robert Jacobs who leads with 64 points. Behind his Kick with 58 points, 50 points, 40 points behind. Fireblaze is P3 with 46. Ryben Inc. is 4th with 40. Sasha Hood is 5th with 40. Stevan is 6th with 37. Ralph is P7 with 28 after his podium at the Austrian Grand Prix. Mark is P8 with 24. Misha P9 with 22. He's a reserve driver. Miles Makis is P10 surprisingly with 90 points. Milan Langer, Eric, Kevin Zubberg, Olai, Hatukas, Mummy Nick, Reed Wieneman, Leonard, Jaden, and Torpe. But on board then with Olai as he heads down towards turn 1. This right-hander, as you want to get as close to the inside, then lean on the curb on the outside too. Coming through turn 2 right now as well. Let's see how it takes it. Hit the curb on the inside, get back on the throttle, immediately shape the car up, get back on the throttle, and now we are preparing for the double right-hander of turn 4 and turn 5. This can be so tricky as well, as you try and take a lot of curve as well. Try and carry the speed all the way through before heading down towards the braking zone of turn 6 then. As you want to slow the car down, build up traction, and make your way now towards turn 7 and turn 8. This also can be a bit difficult too, because it's so easy to lose the rear in the car, which constantly steps out of you, especially during the race too. So this middle part of the track, you got to be very careful indeed, and manage your tyres really well as well, and manage the car. Now, out of turn 11 we go, coming towards this triple right-hander. Absolute brace yourself, because you cannot afford any sort of hesitation or corrections through this particular part of the racetrack. Got to keep it nice and tidy, nice and pinned, and nice one big flow of the steering wheel. Coming towards this double left-hander we go, with the rest of the battery he has in his disposal. Coming towards now the final corner. We'll see what Olak is set as he rounds the final corner. All the way to the line he goes. DRS wide open. It's going to be a 20.5 as the banker.
That is not too bad of a banker from Olive Oli, as we now see both Alpines cross the line with Dark and Leon quite some time behind. I don't know what happened to their laps. They probably made a lot of mistakes, or they just have a lot of fuel on board. Adas splits Olive Oli and Dark with a 21.0, and that's 5 tenths off the pace for now. As we see the Aston Martin of, I think that is Torpe. No, that's not Torpe. That was Bassi actually, who sets his lap time as well. He's very close to Adas, but it's P3 for now.
Ryan just crossed the line to go P6, but unfortunately he has invalidated there. He took too much curb on the inside, and as a result, that was valid. You've got to be very, very precise as well, very accurate heading in towards the corners as well, because a bit too greedy on the inside or outside will cost you your lap time as Robert goes up into P2. So not a shabby lap time there from Olive in P1 there with 20.5. I don't think he's taken pole position just yet this season, but his pace is certainly showing something different as well in this qualifying session. Mark goes up into P2 after not appearing back at the Baku Grand Prix last week in JSR. He pops out Williams up into P2 with a 20.697, with Adas going up into P4. The Polishman in the Mercedes is up into P4. I think it's his first race here this season so far. So let's see how he does. Currently running in P4. Miles Mack is taking out the meter boards as he's headed down in towards turn 1. It's a 21.061 for him, with Sasha in P6. So these times, despite it being a difficult track, I think it's a 5.6 kilometer track. Don't quote me on that one because I haven't really remembered. But these times are so close, and all these drivers within the proximity of each other will make out to be a good race too. Let's see what Eric is doing out there so far in P12. He's coming towards now this left-hander. We go. Takes it nice and flat out through there as well, using all the curb on the outside. The Dutchman looking very good so far this season. We'll see where he could end up as he rounds the final corner. Foot to the floor. DRS wide open for the Mercedes driver. It's a 20.6 and he goes up into P2 ahead of Mark.
Very close margins there between Olaf, Oli and Erik. And I think most of these guys are now just setting a lap time just to be safe, because it's very easy to pick up a track limit at this specific circuit. And of course the tire wear is very high, so it makes it even more difficult to get a clean lap time. As you now see, Kick in sector 3 is now coming up towards the final corner. He's almost out of VRS. He's now gonna absolutely push it around the final corner. Looks like it's a good lap time for him. He's now gonna come across the line, and it is P1 for Kick. It's 12 thousandths quicker than Olaf Oli, and that's a 25 for him. So he has set the benchmark for the rest of the drivers. So let's see what they can do in their second runs.
Mega lap time there for Kick, only just ahead by 12 hundredths of a second there between himself and Olai in P2. Olai finished in P6 at the Baku Grand Prix. He was behind, I think, the likes of Miles Makis and Kick when he was second place at one time, but unfortunately just couldn't stick with the train as he lost the DRS there. Just couldn't stand the back, the Kick, and therefore just dropped down and couldn't find a pace either, as Milan Langer is one of the drivers in P20 who haven't said outside, but he is coming through turn 1 and turn 2 right now, on board with the Dutchman there as he really harasses the car going through turn 2 and turn 3, trying to use every single millimetre of this racetrack, heading through turn 4, turn 5, the double right hand, here we go, as he flicks the car in. Look at that, massive oversteer as well, and takes too much curb on the inside and outside. Milan Langer being a bit too aggressive there on the entry and tried to overdo it as well, unfortunately for him, as he's still down in P20. He hasn't really practiced so far, has Milan Langer. He admitted it, he hasn't practiced, and his best result was at the Chinese Grand Prix when he finished in P3. So Milan Langer, former champion of JSR, has got a lot of work to do, and a good friend of mine and a commentator, of course, so he's well known across the paddock here in JSR and otherwhere, but currently running down to P20 and not looking good so far for my former teammate in last place.
Yeah, you can clearly see he did not practice as much as he did last season, so still a lot of work to do for him, as you just said. Olaf Oli is back out on the track, and he will start his lap time very soon. He's now just about to enter the third sector. He will warm up his tires, and we'll see what he can do in his second lap in the Kick Sauber. Is there an improvement possible for him, or is he gonna make a mistake and get an invalidate? Of course, we know he is very quick, but can he show that in a race as well? We're gonna find out in about 10 minutes time.
Indeed then, as Olai makes his way towards the final corner, really trying to open up the corner to try and get a good exit on the straight. Here we go then for our second runs. Majority of people are out on the circuits. First one up is Olai in P2. What can the Kick Sauber driver do here in Qatar as we head down towards the main straight? We go 330 kilometers an hour, headed down through turn 1, scrubbing off all the speed, kissing the apex on the entry to bring it out wide to open up turn 2 here as well. Trying to do the same thing through here, try and get a good exit as much as you can. The rear of the car just complaining, stepping on them as well as we head towards turn 4, turn 5. The first sector though is the end of the 6th corner. I thought it was here, but it's further down the road. The first sector for him is going to be a 29.6, and not bad, you know, almost a tenth up in the first sector, but still the car just complaining ever so slightly on the exit of turn 6 as he's trying to build up traction and get on the throttle as quick as he can. A bit wide through there, and unfortunately it's a validation for him.
Yeah, he just went a little bit too wide in that corner, or maybe touched the brakes just a little less as he did last lap. So that means he has picked up an invalidate. Robbe is on a lap as well. Let's see what he can do in the Ferrari. Oh, and he's picked up an invalidate as well, just as I was about to spectate him. So that's his lap time gone as well. So let's see who's out there on the lap. I think Mels Makkers is just about, yeah, he's just started his lap now. Heading towards turn 3 in 4th gear, and then back on the power nicely and using the ERS all the way down till the next corner. You can see the braking boards have all been absolutely, yeah, I don't know how to say that, but they're
destroyed.
Destroyed, exactly, thank you. What can Mels do in the first sector? He's 1.5 tenth up, just a little more, so that's a good improvement for him for now in the first sector. Let's see what he can do in the second sector. Now, heading towards, I don't know what corner that is, but it's a right-hander, where Olijf Olie just picked up his invalidate. Now, flat out through this corner and then braking very hard and very late for this left-hander. Misses the apex just a little bit, has no moment on the exit, so that's good for him. But let's see, what can he do in Sector 2? Is it going to be a bigger improvement? No, he's lost a little bit of time because he missed the apex right there, I believe. So that's only a 10th improvement for Mel so far. So let's see what he can do in the final part of the lap, taking this corner flat out, and that's kick Sauber of Olijf Olie there, heading out of the way for Mels. So, what can Mels do? Can he get that Red Bull further up the grid? That's the question. It's gonna be P5 for him, with an improvement of 1/10 and 70,000.
Yeah, Fireblaze is up into P7. JSR Ryan goes up into P5. They're almost contact with the LP driver too. I'm not quite sure which one that is, but just narrowly avoided contact. It was dark in the Alpine. Kieran in 14th, 18th place there. But who else on the lap? So Stefan as well. P18, he is mentored by the 7-time champion of JSR of Ved Joke. He's been coached by Ved Joke, but so far Stefan hasn't really shown the results so far. Had a really difficult race and a difficult last corner too. Let's see what lap time this is for Stefan. Goes up into P11. So Stefan is 1,000th away from Sasha, who's coming through now. Turn 4, turn 5, as all the drivers on the circuit we go. Let's see what Kick's doing. The man on the provisional pole position, 2/10 up in the middle sector. But Eric goes towards the top of the time machines. But here comes Kick. Can he take back the pole? The answer is yes, with a 20.336, sorry. 1/10 clear of AMS Eric in P2. Once again, Kick showing some relentless pace here in a McLaren and continuing where he left off back at the Baku Grand Prix and in China too. Kick is his 3rd appearance here in JSR. He's won 2 out of 2 races, and this could be his 3rd, but there's a long way to go in this qualified session. Olai is back out once again, Ivan, and we'll see what he could do on his next flying lap.
Hopefully Olijf Olie can get it all together in that final lap of his. It's, yeah, why does he go out that early? Did he accidentally do a software compound tire choice? I don't think he would have done that, but he is already out with 5 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. So we saw Eric go quickest at first, but then it was Kick who went faster with a 20.3. So it's now an AMS 1-2, and Olijf Olie is about to start his lap. Let's see what he can do. Now heading towards turn 1 in 4th gear. Switching it all the way back. Oh, and he picks up an invalidate at the exit of turn 1. And that are his chances for pole position gone. I don't think he has enough fuel left. So that is qualifying done and dusted for him, I think.
Yeah, relatively early to go out there, like you said, and he's already used 2 sets of the soft car powered tyres, has Olaf, so find himself in a bit of a peculiar situation here as well. He's still pushing, which is not good news. Now he's backing off, so I wonder if he's going to reharness that energy, cool the tyres down, make sure he doesn't take too much grip out of those tyres, because the tyre wear around here is so sensitive, these soft car powered tyres. They may be malleable, they may be sticky, they may be the grippiest, but in terms of one lap usage, the absolute peak is absolutely gone as well, as these drivers push around to try and find the best lap times they can in the qualified session. So Olai, I'm not quite sure what he's going to do. It looks like he's got enough fuel on board in that Kick Sauber, and I wonder if he might continue. He's still burning the battery, he's still pushing, so I wonder if he's going to try and head back into pit lane. But this could be his qualifying done and dusted, because if he's only got 3 sets of the soft power tyres left at his disposal, then that means qualifying could be done for him. So let's see what he decides to do. He's not got enough battery anyway to start his last flying lap. His best lap time, he's only done 1 lap, I think, which is a 20.533, and the other 2 have been a valid or mistake, as the Kicksauber or Mummy Nick is in the pit lane with him. So he jumps him actually, and that means Ollie will have to wait later. But I'm not quite sure if Ollie has got another set of soft power tyres left ready for him.
Unfortunately, I don't think he has, as we now see everybody heading out of their garage. We saw Milan earlier on a lap, and then he spun because he picked up an invalidate, but I don't think you saw that, Jamie. But anyways, he's now heading back into the pits. He has enough time left to do another lap, so no stress for him. So everybody is heading out there. Adas is... no, Robbe is about to start his lap. His teammate is right in front of him. Maybe that's a little bit of dirty air for him, so that might be disturbing for him. I don't think Stefan knows that he's on a lap, or he just gets a little slipstream from him. I think that's the thing what they're gonna do. Yeah, now Stefan gets out of the way. So is that an improvement for Robbe in the first sector? We're gonna see in around 3 seconds. It is. Oh, 33 thousandths faster than his provisional lap time, but that would still not be enough for pole position. He still has to find a massive amount of time in the second and third part of the lap. Now clipping the apex, and that's very good from him. Now burning the battery, and now heading towards the left-hander, braking very late again, and he hits the apex. So, and now back on the power. This is looking like a very clean lap for Robbe, but the question is, can he improve? It is a 2/10 improvement for Robbe, and he's gone purple in the second sector. Can he keep up that good performance in the third sector? He might get a little bit of distraction from, I don't know, that's probably the Alpine in front of him. And now heading towards the final corner. Can Robbe send it one more time? And now we're gonna see where he's gonna place that Ferrari car. Is it gonna be in the top 3? It is gonna be P6 for him, 2.5 improvement.
May have benefited from a little bit of a slipstream there from the Alpine driver who gets out of the way on his lap time now. It looks like Ados in P11 has gone for a mistake at turn 1 already, or turn 2, so his lap time has been ruined in these late stages of this qualifying session, as majority of people already want to get online. And P3 is out there again. Not quite sure if his tyres are 1 lap order already. He's got a new set of soft compound tyres attached to his car, so he could have 4 sets of soft compound tyres, or maybe he could have gone on and used one in the other part of the qualifying session in the early stages, so maybe save one later. But Stefan coming through turn 5 right now in the Ferrari. Former teammates with a joke, of course, last season, and I know Stefan can be very quick on his day too, but recently it hasn't been that extraordinary, if I must say so. He finished P10 back at the Baku Grand Prix. Even that race itself was quite dramatic, but unfortunately for him, he didn't really gain anything from it, as he might go wide out here, just enough to keep it within the track limits. And there is Robbe repaying the favour for Stefan in the middle sector, but not really through here, because the turbulent air is going to be distracted as he gets out of the way. He darts to the left-hand side, but Stefan, the damage is already probably done, because he's 1/10 down in the middle sector as he flies through turn 15 right now. But I don't think there's any more saving time for him as he comes towards the final corner. Is there anything left in the Ferrari to try and move himself up towards the top 10? We're about to find out right now from the Dutchman as he makes his way towards the line. He goes P9, so he did find time in the last sector, but muddled up somewhere in the middle sector. Now let's see, as our main competitors are on their flying lap, we'll see which drivers are close towards the line, which drivers can improve in these final parts of the qualifying session, as Ralph in the first sector, unfortunately for him, is 4/10 down. Look at the traffic jam in that last sector there. It's about 5, 6, 7, 8 cars all powered up there in the final few corners. So hopefully nobody gets a 5-second time penalty, as Robbe has retired in towards turn 1. I hope he realised in the pit lane. Sorry, that's his teammate going through turn 1 right now. But on by Ollie once again. This is his 4th attempt, coming through turn 5 now, headed down towards turn 6. What's it like? Nice, strong first sector. Now the question is though, can he hang on to it for the rest of the lap? That's the most important part of the qualifying session, because the best drivers deliver under pressure, whereas other people might suffer from pressure because they can't keep it soaked up and let the nerves get the best of them. So hopefully all the pressure for him is soaked up as he now makes his way towards the left-hander at turn 11, as he takes a cautious approach. Even so, unfortunately, He has invalidated. He took a very, very acute line going through there, it towards the left-hander, so don't really open it up, and he may have lost a bit of time going to the middle set. He's still going, by the way, but of course this lap time will not count as Hatakas goes up into P4. What a mega lap time as Ryan stays in P6 there in the racing. But what about Mark? He's improving in the middle sector by, let's have a look right now to see what he does. Down in the middle sector, so he was up. But where's Eric? Eric is not gonna...
Invalid.
Has he validated?
Yep.
Here's Kick. There's Aston Martin in the way, but gets out of the way very, very late as we come towards the final corner. Can Kick improve in the McLaren? He's lagging all over the place with the DRS wide open. Is this going to be improvement for Kick? Let's find out. Yes, it is. It's a 20.307, and he improves by only a few hundredths of a second, which is enough to deliver him pole position for the race. What an incredible qualifying session again for Kick in P1. Eric is P2 ahead of Olai, or Khatikas is P4 ahead of Mark. Miles back is Ryan, Robert, Sasha, and Milan Langer. Does get himself inside the top 10 after a difficult qualifying session. Where's Fireplace in all of this? Fireplace, where are you? Where is he?
P12.
Oh, disappointment for Fireplace at P12 there. But qualifying's done it, Van. Now towards the race.
What a qualifying session it was for the past 80 minutes. We've seen brilliant lap times, especially from the AMS boys, who are now in P1 and in P2. So they will share the front row for this race, who is about to start in about 3 minutes time. Let's see who's gonna come out on top for the Qatar of Grand Prix. The Grand Prix for the...
It's okay, man. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Just take your time, mate. But yeah, Kick on pole, a position just like he was back at the Baku Grand Prix last week. Eric's P2 as well. We'll see what Eric could do after a difficult race back at the Qatar Grand Prix. There's loads of DNS back in Qatar, including Fireblaze, Khatakas, and Milan Langer, and Leonard too. Leonard is not here, I don't think, here in Qatar, so he will not participate, although he had a DNF back at the Baku Grand Prix as well for good measure. But Eric hasn't really participated a lot either here in JSR. I'm trying not to get confused with JSR and STN. But Eric, I think on his return, because his first race was back at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, finished in P3 on the podium, and he makes his return back here as well after a few races off. He's up into P2 and 1/10 behind Kick. Is anybody going to stop Kick from winning this race? But they know the DRS can be quite powerful around here. One DRS zone, of course, which is the 1 kilometre straight down in towards turn 1. So we might see some overtaking. We'll see a lot of DRS trades as well. And fuel could be a talking point as well in this race. It could be a difficult to save fuel. And we don't really see many safety cars either in this race. Tyre wear will be an absolute key factor as well in this race. I think from experience, Ivan, this track can be super difficult.
Yeah, it is a very difficult track. Lots of time penalties will be taken around this track, so you have to be very careful about how you're gonna be driving for this race. Are you gonna take the risk, or are you just gonna stay behind and hope that others in front will get a penalty? So we're gonna see who's gonna come out on top. Of course, loads of fuel will be taken into the car, and it's probably gonna be a one-stop, medium hard, or hard medium. You wouldn't expect that, but it is going to be a one-stop. So let's see who's going to come out on top for the Grand Prix of Qatar.
I think if you do a two-stop strategy, you'll be bleeding loads of time. So I think a one-stop strategy is the way to go in this race. As the light's about to go away there for the Qatar Grand Prix for round 5, and we'll see who gets the better start off the line. And we're underway for Qatar. Here we go then for the race for round 5 in Division 1. Kick and Eric are side by side as we barrel roll in towards turn 1 we go. Kick taking a wider angle to go all the way around the outside in towards turn 1. Hatakas against P3 as these still remain in battle. And Eric is trying to go around the outside in towards turn 2. He has the inside line in towards 3. And he takes the lead of the race. What a nice move from Eric there. But Kick, will he fight back in towards 4 and 5? No. Thinks better of it as he stays behind for the time being there. As we see Robert and Mark there in a scrap for P6 and P7. As Mark goes off the track around the outside. Now has the inside line as somebody has smashed the meter boards there. As the drivers now farther away through turn 6 we go. As the side by side between Milan Langer and Ryan, the man that won the Brazilian Grand Prix, the first race of the season, has a had much luck since then as they go wheel to wheel now in a very difficult part of the track we go. Not really conventional place to overtake here. You might want to back out of it just in case if there's any contact like there is there, as we see some contact between the Racing Bull and Milan Langer. But Sasha in the Racing Bull does have damage, which indicates why he was struggling there in the middle part of the track. He's lacking downforce and has no grip, so it explains why he was so slow through there, and explains why Milan was so desperate to get past. He's so desperate to get past because he doesn't want to lose time towards the guys in front, because if he does that, then get back at DRS range is going to be so difficult for him. So he needs to overtake him right now at this stage.
Milan is now heading towards the and Sasha is heading into the pits to change his front wing, so the damage is critical for him. Unfortunately for him, he has to make a extra pit stop, and now Mels Marquez has won 3 positions at the start, so mega start for him, and he's now right behind Kick, who will get the arrest though from Eric, and it looks like the top 3 has already broken away, because the gap is already 1 second to Geitekas, who's struggling to keep up with the top 3 runners in this race so far. Olijf Olie in P5, and then there is a massive train all the way till Fireblaze, but he is already close to the gap because the dirty air is so massive you can easily drive towards a group if you are not in the dirty air. So the DRS will be activated this lap. It's already activated this lap, so let's see if Kick is already gonna make a move to get out of the dirty air and save tires, or is he just gonna push away and go for the overtake.
As Geitekas probably explains why he's struggling just a bit there in the first stint, because he's on the hardcore bar tyres. Olijf is too, so as long as they lose too much time towards the top 3, as long as they don't become total disconnectment from the top 3 there, they should be okay. But Geitekas is 1.2 seconds away, so Mels, Eric and Kick all fighting for first, second and third place here, as I expect these drivers to do so in these mini-cup bar tyres. They have a big gap one, they have an advantage now with Geitekas losing the DRS, but we know tyre wear is so high around here. We think that Geitekas could be back with the DRS range soon on lap 5, lap 6, 7 or 8. But we'll see when he does or not. But Olijf's in P5. Good news for him as well. His fellow half runner is in P5, so won't give him too much of a bad time there as we head down towards turn 1 with Eric still in the Grand Prix, kicking P2 and Mels back is P3. Now, back at the back of the Grand Prix, we did see a lot of fights between these guys as well. They weren't really thinking about the long-term game. They were going side by side through every single corner as well in the first sector, but this time they may think about playing it smart, because if they keep it nice and small and tidy, it's a high-speed game of chess here as well. So as long as these guys trade DRS, follow each other, and try and bridge that gap between Geitekas to have a better advantage on the hardcore part tyres, they'll switch over to later on in the Grand Prix. Did I see somebody go out wide in the background? It must have been a Mercedes who I just saw go out wide. I'm not quite sure who it was, but as that driver has got themselves back on the track, it was just in the background there. But Geitekas keeps losing lots of time, of course, in this part of the race. He was side by side with Olijf towards turn 1, but somehow Mels Marquez got past both of them. But I'm not quite sure how he did it, but he did, and now he's up into P3. He puts himself in a really good spot because he's able to keep up with the leaders of first and second place and use the DRS to back of them to keep up with them and follow them throughout this race. In the best spot is so far in P3.
Kick will get DRS. Right now he is within 5 tenths. Mels has dropped off just a little bit, but he still managed to grow the gap to Geitekas. And now Kick is within 3 tenths of Eric. He has pushed quite hard and now he's going for the move. It's just gonna be a switch, so no battle at all. So Kick takes the lead of the Grand Prix. And Olijf is battling with Geitekas, not really a battle, he's just got past him, and that means they're gonna work together as well. But now the gap is around 2 seconds, and that's not what you want as a hard runner, especially when the mediums are better at this stage of this race. The hards will only get better in around 3 or 4 laps probably, but then the mediums will already have their pit window opened and they will box within those laps. So it's gonna be around lap 10 that they're gonna pit to the hard tires. And then the hard runners will have to stay out for quite some time, and then hope that the overcut works very well for them, and then they have to go for overtakes. So let's see what's gonna happen for those guys.
Mummy Nick trying to get past the Aston Martin driver, Alpha Sauber driver. Got confused between the 2 livery drivers there, the 2 green livery drivers. But Mummy Nick actually Torpe got past him. There we go. Intervals turn 6. But Mummy Nick tries to go up to the inside. Torpe managed to hold it on the outside. There's yellow flags in the background. It is Warhammer in the P19. He's going for a little bit of adventure in turn 2 and gets back on the track once again. No, it's not turn 2. It is, where is it? Turn 6, sorry. It looked like turn 2 from my camera angle there. But Kick has set the fastest of the Grand Prix. Trying to break free from Eric's grasp in the DRS there. But Eric with the DRS wide open. open, able to keep up a kick and still continue this fight. Headed down towards turn 1 right now. Khatikas is right behind Olai as we head through turn 1. These two are not going to really scrap. They're going to work together at this stage of the Grand Prix. It's very important for those two to work together now because they can't afford to lose a lot of time towards the top 3 as they're on the hardcore power tie on the same strategy. So don't want to be messing around too much there in 4th and 5th place. Just swap and trade DRS, just like Kick and Eric are doing in 1st and 2nd place there. But unfortunately, this is not the time for them to be scrapping around right now in 4th and 5th, especially on the hardcore power ties looking to go for a very long way. But the guys in the midfield behind them are stuck there, and they're going to be so disappointed as well because they probably got the pace to keep up with 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of Mel's, Eric and Kick. But the two ahead of them, unfortunately, let them down as we now head through this middle sector we go. So Mark, Robert, Ryan, Fireblaze, all very annoyed that the DRS has been lost towards the top 3 because of the Harvarders in 4th and 5th place. They're not able to get past the Harvarders because it's so difficult to get past them in the DRS. And even though they're on the on the medical powered tyres, it doesn't really mean it's a better tyre. It's just so difficult to get past. There's not really a big tyre difference between the two, other than it's more malleable or more durable, and we'll say the hardcore power tyres at this stage in the Grand Prix. But Olai's brought the gap towards 2 seconds now, and the advantage will swing his way very soon in the race. He's got to be very patient. It's a long speed game of chess here between the guys at the front of the field. But here we go with the DRS wide open. Let's see if there's a swapperoo going down in towards turn 1. The answer is no, because Eric stays behind. Not going for every single lap, just being patient, planning and coordinating his attacks at the right time as the Haas is spun in the background there as we see Khatikas get past the Kick Sauber driver. Ryan as well, Fireblaze is scrapped away from P8 and P9. Fireblaze has been attempting to move on the racing ball, but unfortunately for him, hasn't quite paid off so far in this race, and he's been stuck behind him ever since. Milan Langer has also come to the train. Despite being on the train, thanks to Sasha, down in P18, he's rejoined all the way to the back of the field, of course. The first driver in this race to pick a penalty is Ryan in P8, unfortunately for him.
Warhammer also had a 3-second time penalty, but that's not something to worry about because Ryan is the first one in the top 10 to pick up a 3-second time penalty, as you just said. So Geitkaas now has to do the job and close that gap towards the top 3. Of course, the hard tires will start to get better from this stage. And we see another yellow flag. Who's that? That's again Warhammer, who's gone off. And I don't think he will take this race seriously anymore, so there might be a chance he will cause a safety car at some point. But now the gap is still around 2 seconds, so the crossover point must be around here. And now Eric is within 7, now it's around 7 tenths, so he will get DRS. Kick is pushing quite hard, he's still on around 50% battery, but Eric is gaining, he's gaining more than I expected. Oh, and he's going now around the outside. Is he gonna go for the move? Oh, can he stick it up there around the outside? Still side by side now heading towards turn 2. Is Kick gonna go for the switchback, or is he just gonna let Eric go? He's going for the switchback. What a battle between these two. Can Mels Makkes, no, he can't because Eric is ahead. And that is P1 back for him again. And now the gap is 2.5 seconds because Olaf Oli and Geitkaas have scrapped it away with each other as well. And that means the gap has grown even more towards the top 3, and that's not what you want if you're on the hard compound of tire.
Yeah, kicking out, scrapping through turn 1 and turn 2 there has cost himself a little bit of time as well. That's a very risky move. You play with fire as well, going through turn 1 and turn 2, trying to go side by side, especially when the offline of the track is so dirty. It's so easy to pick up marbles and lose traction, but they kept it nice and clean. That's the most important part as well, and still got the gap over 4th place as well. So they did a really good job managing their pace, managing the tyres, and being methodical as well in terms of planning their attack. So they've been very calculated so far in this race, playing this small, long game as they need to be as well, whilst the guys behind are waiting as well for the crossover point between the hardcore powered tyres. You expect at this stage of the Grand Prix, maybe lap A9, when the hardcore powered tyres may swing back to the pendulum and therefore have the pace, but not for the time being. Then the top 3 still got some decent pace on their hands, and we'll see Mels Makkes, what will he do in P3, because he's stuck behind these two. And when you're third in a DRS train, it's just so frustrating to be stuck there and not get past as well. It's been a most common theme in the F1 game so far, and unfortunately you can't fix it. But yeah, person in 3rd or 4th or 5th, wherever, are stuck in that train, and they're just hoping for 1st or 2nd place to battle out, and you try and go through. But Eric there, or Kicks I must say, struggling through 5 and 6. You can see the amount of understeer these guys are sustaining as well. The thermal degradation is probably starting to get towards these tyres as well, as if you over push on these medical powered tyres, the more it overheats, the more you slide around, and the more it will cause temperature as well. So you be very careful, you be very smooth with your inputs as well, and being very just very careful in terms of getting on the throttle and being in the dirty air is not really helping either. But Olai, the gap is 1.5 seconds now, so he started to gain a little bit of time now, as you expect on this hardcore power tyre. Started to make inroads on Miles Mackis there in P3, whilst Hattikas, on the other hand, is started to struggle a little bit, and now in the hands of Mark. He's lost the DRS towards Olai in P4. Miles Mackis there, I think, in one of the right-handers, makes it a track limit, so he's got to be very careful in terms of track limits, because track limits will make or break your race, especially around here, which is so punishing and so brutal. So you can be very, very careful in terms of track limits then. But the DRS wide open once again. Olai is not too far behind in P4, in striking distance, but here we go. No moves on the straight, headed down in towards turn 1. So these drivers hanging back so far, headed down in towards the first corner. We've got Ryan versus Robert for P7 and P8 there, the side by side through turn 1. I think the racing ball goes wide towards turn 1, but I don't think Robert, as the hat has spun there, Robert's able to get the switch back and forth as he stays in PF for the time being. Ryan's still in the hardcore power tyres too, as Warhammer has retired on the track, so hopefully it's not a safety car, which it isn't, because if it was, then I think many drivers would be frustrated, well, except the Harvard. I think the Harvarders would be very frustrated if the safety car came out right now, because it's the wrong time.
Exactly, if the safety car would come out right now, the hard tire runners would be absolutely cooked. As we now see, the gap has shrunk to 1.3 seconds, now 1.4, but Olaf Oli seems to have the pace in comparison with Geitkaas, because Geitkaas never managed to close the gap, and now Olaf Oli has managed to close the gap down to 1.3 seconds, and he has dropped Geitkaas as well. So that's a good sign for him. It looks like Olaf Oli finally has the pace to compete for the top spots, as now we are heading towards the main straight once again, and Kik is very close to the back of Erik, as does Miles to the back of Kik. So now on board with the McLaren driver, he has the DRS. Erik is weaving just a little bit just to break that slipstream. Maybe he's gonna try and push away on this lap, because we haven't seen weaving in this race so far. But Kik has no choice to stay behind right now. And I think Kik was struggling just a little bit when Erik overtook him, because he hadn't really experienced the dirty air in this phase of the race. So that means Kik had to get used to it. But now he has found the space once again, and they're just in the train. And Olaf Oli is about to get into the DRS of the top 3, and now he is within a second. So great pace there from Olaf Oli. Let's see if he can try and go for the overtake on Miles Mackis.
Erik, one lucky boy, because out of turn 5 he went off the track completely but did not pick up a track limit warning, so very lucky escape there for Erik in P1. Can't afford any more of those. If I remember back in SDN a couple of seasons ago, as Kik has a massive bubble out of turn 11 there in the dirty air, like you said, following. But if I remember back in SDN, I think Hattikas and Erik were the two that picked up a puncher, and they've been in this race before in Qatar. They know how long the tyres can go, especially for someone like Erik and Hattikas, who are on a pad. It's quite difficult as well to manage the mini-compound tyres, but Erik is doing a sustainable job so far, a very efficient job, it must be said. Is Erik in first place, manages his pace really well, but those mini compound tyres are starting to fall off the cliff, and Kik in P2 under massive pressure now, because he went off the track in the final corner. That could give a door open for Miles Mackis to go through, but Kik used the DRS to get closer towards Erik and defend for Miles Mackis in P3. Miles Mackis will try and take any advantage he can to try and overtake Kik, but so far he's stuck there in P3, rather stationary and not progressing forwards, as he can't do. But we've got some people in the pit lane right now moving on the hardcore power tyres. It is Milan Langer, Bassi, Fireblaze, Torpey, all in the pit lane to get on the hardcore power tyres. But Torpey started the hardcore power tyres, so I think he may switch over to the mediums, which is quite strange, because he's already, these mini-compound tyres can't go towards the end of the race, so it's a definite two-star strategy for him in this race. I don't think his time management is really as good as other people's. That's why he may be struggling so far and down to P17. But Sasha, who pitted on the first lap due to damage, is still there in P15, just hoping for a safety car. Now, the chance of a safety car around here in Qatar is rather slim. It used to be quite high back in the day, but here in modern day league racing, in the highest division, we don't really see many safety cars, because it's a massive runoff area, and the chance of a safety car around here is so slim unless something dramatic happens. But Mark and... something dramatic has happened! Mark has got a puncher! Puncher! We said it at the same time. Yeah. But Mark has got a puncher, and it's the left front tire. We talked about Puncher, how close these drivers are. They just pushed it to the limit, to the absolute limit, unfortunately. And look at that, the top three in the pit lane to get rid of the mini compound tires, and that tells you how high the tire air is. Something dramatic in this race has happened already in this race, and it is Mark suffering from the consequences of taking those tires too long, Ivan.
Yeah, definitely. He picked up a puncture, and that meant the top three had to box because they knew they were in high puncture territory as well. So let's see, can some of these guys get an undercut work? As Robbe, oh no, who went for the undercut then? Fireblaze and Milan went for the undercut, so let's see how many positions they can gain. They were in P9 and P10, if I remember correctly. I don't think that actually was the case, but they come out in P10 and in P11, but of course we have still 6 hard compound tire runners, no, 5 hard runners and 1 medium runner, so they still have to box. It's very impressive how Stefan is going 12 laps on his medium tires, so he will definitely be pushing extra hard on those hard compound tires if he boxes this lap, or maybe even next lap. I don't know how his tire circumstances are right now. As Mummy Nick has left the session again, it's his second disconnect of the race, so very unfortunate for him. He was trying to make up some places at the mid phase of his medium stint, but now he's disconnected again. So that's not what you want. And Mark has spun again on his brand new hard compounded tire, so his race has gone from bad to worse, and that means he is now down into P17, and yeah, it's basically disaster for him. As now Kick is oh, Mels has dropped off DRS. He has probably misclicked on his pit stop, and that means he has lost around 3 tenths. And now he is not in the DRS, but Kick still is in the DRS. He's within 7 tenths, but he's pushed quite hard on his outlap. And Miminik is back in the session, so that's good news for him. So let's see what the top 3 can do in this next couple of laps.
It could be a 3-way turn into a 2-way now with Miles Mackey just dropping off. Does he have the pace to try and get back within the DRS region, kicking out to keep that fight going for first, second and third place there between the top 3 in this race? But Eric is doing a monumental job so far in P6. It's gonna come down to these 2 or these 3, depends if Miles Mackey is. I don't think there's nobody else involved who can really get themselves in this battle. But Olai and Khatakas there as well. The problem with going to hards and mediums is you got to take the hard compound tires a mighty long way in a race distance, because the medium compound tire is so delicate, so fragile. It means that you got to try and do the less resistance, the less distance on those really compound tires, and that's why these guys do go from hard to medium, lose a lot of time, because they can't make the deficit back up towards the end of the race. And we've seen a lot of people try and do hard to medium in some races. It does work sometimes, but it depends though if you have really good time management and constant blistering pace as well with consistent lap times, because you can take, there's a one thing taking the tires so long in a race, but there's also one thing of keeping the gap consistent, keeping the time consistent as well with your lap times, because sometimes you can just drop off the pace massively, lose seconds and buckets of time as well for good measure. So obviously the top 5 in this race of Olai, Khatakas, Ryan, Ados in P4 and Ralph in P5 are on the hardcore powered tyres to go for a long way. We've just seen evidence of Mark, who is taking those tyres 10 laps, sustaining the puncher. So these guys do not want to pit just yet in this race, as we see Batty, Torpe and Kieran down in P18 the Brit in 18th place there, along with Leon too. The 2 British drivers down in 18th and 19th place there as well. With Bassi getting past Esteban, they're on the midi compound tyres. Those tyres will not go towards the end of this race. So they're doing a definite 2-stop. I think they've gone for safety rather than aggressiveness on the 1-stop strategy. But yeah, like I said, you got to. I know it's counterintuitive. You got to push hard as you can, stay with the DRS range, but at the same time be very careful too. Now the situation is Eric is in the McLaren sandwich because there is Ralph in front of him. Now I wonder how Ralph will make Eric's life difficult by trying to keep it behind and give Kick an advantage. Here he is. They catched him in the worst part of the track. There's a lunge up the inside in towards the left. You got to be very careful because this is a risky move. You can't afford contact with somebody in a completely different race of yours, and he's going side by side. Look at this. Ralph is not giving up as we head towards the triple. How do we go? As Eric squeezed ahead. That was very important now for Eric to get past, and now I think Ralph needs to let Kick through as well, not to give him the turbulent air and not to lose any time going in towards final He can't afford to lose the DRS now, Kit, can he? As we see Khatakas and Olai swap a place for first and second place there. Khatakas goes up to P1 in that lead ahead of Olai, and this is very important now because Kik has got to get past his teammate now. Team orders will be here. It should be common sense, but it is common sense as Kik goes up into P6. And here comes Miles Makis. Doesn't want to waste any time behind that McLaren, which he doesn't do so, and back up into P7. This is going to be a straight fight between these three. Kik, Eric and Miles Makis, and all three of them have their own strengths and weaknesses. All three of them are an absolute caliber of a driver as well, and we'll see which one of these three is going to win this race. Eric hasn't won a race yet this season, neither has Miles Makis. Kik has won 2 already, so Kik knows what it's like to win a Grand Prix, but Eric and Miles Makis are still waiting to try and put their hands on the trophy.
It's going to be one of these three who's going to come out on top for this Grand Prix, of course. Now, Ralph didn't cause as much chaos as I expected he would do, because I thought he was going to defend very hard on Eric, and we almost saw it seemed like it was going to be a Cops Corner similar accident. I don't want to talk about it anymore. As now we see Geitkaas almost dropping Olijfolie, so it seems like he is pushed too hard to get to those top 3 in his first stint, and now Geitkaas has found his pace, and it looks like he's driving away from Olijfolie, and it's only 13 laps to go, so I think they will have to pit within the next 3 laps, otherwise the undercut for... Oh, what happened?
Puncture for the Mercedes.
Went off.
Yeah, you got a puncture,
hard tires.
Yeah, hard tires, 16 laps on the hard compound tires, and guess what? So that's 16 laps on the hard compound tires, yeah? So Eric, Kik, and Miles Makis pitted on lap 10, that's 19 laps. So if we see punches already in 16 laps, that's what I mean. Tyre management is absolutely vital. It's absolutely essential. It's an oxymoron because you don't want to do a 2-stop, but at the same time, though, you don't want to push as hard as you can in the first stint as well. That's why it's really, really critical as well. Being gentle with the tyres is an absolute must in this race, absolutely essential in this Grand Prix. But luckily for Ados in P14, he got a puncture at the final corner, which is not so bad, but of course not sustainable for his race. He joins that in P14, but still 13 laps on his big power tyres is not good enough for him. He'd rather extend that stint a little bit more, but I wonder how his tyre situation could be on these big power tyres. I think he's in a really bad spot here, is Ados in P14. Might have to do another stop or else he get a puncture.
Yeah, he's now moved on to the medium tyres, and it's going to be very hard for him to finish the race on a 1-stop. But although the top 3 will get 19 laps on those hard tires, they will have less fuel, so that means the tire wear is going to be lower for them. As we now see Ryan head into the pits, let's see where he's going to come out then, and let's switch back to the front for a brief moment to see if Kik is going to go for the move. He is within around 5 tenths, now 6 tenths. He's probably not going to go for the move. It's just only driving behind each other for the entire race. Ryan has got... Oh, and somebody is off. I don't know who that is. Is that Sasha again, or was it Torpey? I don't know. It was one of the two. As now Ryan has come out in P9. So, good potential. Oh, he's getting overtaken by the 2 Ferraris. But luckily, he is ahead of Bassi. So now, he can push freely if he gets past those 2 Ferraris. But are they going to work together? That's the question. So... Ryan now has to push like a madman, as Mark says the fastest lap with a 23.8, and Olijfolie is still within the DRS of Geitkaas, so it looks like he has found pace again in that Kik Sauber, and I think those two are now gonna make a pit stop in this specific lap.
Indeed then, so I think Geitkaas then have to come into pit lane on this lap because his tyres looking very aggressive, the tyres looking very angry indeed, so don't want to risk a punch. He's done all the hard work so far in this race. I know 12 laps the mid-compound tyres is not really good doable, and it's just a contradiction, but counterintuitive what they need to do as well. Push as hard as they can, but manage as much as they can as well. As Geitkaas is in the pit lane, so it's Olai don't speed in the pit lane, which they don't do because it's easily done at any circuit. Every single driver wants to attack the pit lane to not waste any sort of time there. But at the same time, every single driver gets caught out once a while or twice in a while too. But luckily, those two do not get a 10-second penalty. It's been a quiet race so far because there was so much action happening in Baku, and I rather prefer this type of race, not this type of race all the time, but some battle it too. But at least every now and then it's nice to have a quiet race with not many people making contact. Here comes Fireblaze, here comes Milan Langer, 2 good friends in JSR. Fireblaze moves up into P4 ahead of Milan Langer. I think he's a former champion here too, is Fireblaze. 2 former champions, 2 former teammates in P4 and P5. Milan Langer is right behind you. He's done a really good job so far in this race in P5, and we'll see what the pace is like with Geitkaas Olai and Ryan in P7, P8, and P9. So they should be blissed on the mid-car power tyres. But given what we've seen so far, with the information about the mid-car power tyres being so delicate and easy to obliterate as well, the tyres do not last long around here at all. They're not durable, unfortunately, for those guys in mid-car power tyres. They've got to watch out to the end. They're going to be very quick, but at the same time, the tyre drop-off could be massive towards the end on those mid-car power tyres. So I really hope that Khatikas, Olai, Ryan, Bassi, well, not Bassi because he definitely have to pit, Ados in P13 can take those mid-car power tyres towards the end of this race without sustaining any sort of puncture, because they've done a lot of hard work. But unfortunately, this track is just so brutal. And on paper, a wall stop strategy is faster, but you spend less time in the pit lane, and track position is absolutely king around here. But the problem is, though, tyre life. These lows through these long high-speed corners, especially the triple right-hander, give massive stress, especially to the left front tyre. That's why we're seeing some punches and drivers have to make some slow down to make sure the tyres survive. And you might think, why not do a two-stop and be safe? But the pit lane loss around here is so huge. If you pit twice, you're likely dropping into traffic, overheating your tyres behind the other cars, and lose the advantage as well in terms of strategy. So a two-stop protects the tyre life, but it kills your race, ironically.
Yeah, definitely, that's true what you just said. I gotta say, huge shout out to Milan Langer, as he's invalidated his first 2 runs in qualifying and then getting P10 on his final run, and now driving in the top 5. He's doing absolutely amazing in that Haas car, as Adas has retired in the pit lane after that puncture. So that's race over for him. Fortunately, he retired in the pit lane, so no safety car or VSC is gonna be deployed, as now Kik and Mels are still behind Erik, who is setting the pace at the moment, and Fireblaze is 7.5 seconds behind, and he will definitely not catch up. But Geitkaas and Olijfolie now have to push like madmans, and Geitkaas is almost already in the DRS range of Milan, and he has to get past on this lap, otherwise the chances of him getting on a podium or even fighting for a win will be even smaller as it was on the first stint. Of course, Olijfolie now knows how to push the car, because of course on the hard tires. Oh, and Kik, there comes Kik around the outside on Erik. Is he gonna take the lead back again, now side by side? Is this gonna be a move again around the outside? Would be beautiful, still side by side. Clean battle for now. Can Kik make the move stick? No, Erik stays ahead for the moment, but this was a sign from Kik that he wants to get a battle going with Erik.
Let's get the dice rolling now between the top 3. Now, Miles Marquez is being so impatient in P3. He's doing a really good job so far, Miles Marquez. Now, his patience will wear thin. He wants to get past. He wants to be involved now. He doesn't want to be stuck there in P3 and say, oh, I made no moves so far in this race. The only moves he's made so far is the first of the Grand Prix. He wants this piece of action. He's trying to get past these two with a glimpse, any sort of glimpse of opportunities there in this race. He'll try and go for it, of course, but it's so difficult. That's the problem you find yourself in P3. That's why qualifying literally is so important, because it does defy your race, and also strategy as well, with a simple one-stop strategy. But you never know. Oh, what's happened? Oh, Kik had a lag spike. I thought he was off the track there as well. That lag spike has been catching me out. Did you see it, man?
Yeah, I saw it. Hopefully it doesn't get a disconnect, of course, in SCN, where he gets a lot of disconnects. And Mels now there goes off the track. So praying for Kik he doesn't get a disconnect, because that would absolutely be heartbreaking for him. As now Kik is within 4 tenths. He's so close to the back of Erik, who is weaving like crazy. Is he gonna go for a move once again? Yes, Erik goes to the inside. Kik goes round the outside again. Can he make the move? No, he stays behind. He's gonna go for the switchback, isn't he? Yeah, he's going for the switchback now, round the outside in turn 2. No, Erik still stays ahead. It's so difficult to overtake around this track, and that shows it once again, as now Erik is now saving his battery, and Kik right behind him, and Mels following in P3.
Intense battle here for the top 3 in this race. They've been glued together literally throughout this whole race, and now we'll see. We'll decide to tell who'll be in first, second, and third place later in this race. However, Khatikas caught up, and here comes Olai up the inside into towards turn 6. Not really seen many places up the inside here, but let's see if he does it. He can't make it stick. He's alongside him, but Khatikas with the outside line should get a better exit with better traction, and therefore maintain P6. So it is rather counterproductive for Khatikas, because he's attacking and defending at the same time, which he doesn't want to do. He wants to move forward on his big compound tyres, whilst these tyres are the absolute grip. And he goes wide through turn 11, and Olai really dares someone up the inside or around the outside. Here he comes, out batches him, and Khatikas just pulls it behind. I think he's being very patient and smart. He knows that Olai is getting a better exit, so he just lets him go. And now Olai can focus on Fireblades and Milan Langer, the two Harvarders who have been pretty much together throughout this whole race. Milan Langer has got the most wins in JSR with 31 wins to his name, with Vejok in second place with 27 wins, and Fireblades with 8 and Khatikas 9 wins. But here we go, out of the final corner we go. Olai with the DRS wide open. How difficult can it be for him to get past Milan Langer, who also has the DRS again and again and again? And here he comes in towards turn 1, outside, inside. It should be around the outside, in towards turn 1. Does he have the grip to go all the way the outside? No, he does not. He can't go around the outside there either, as Khatikas in P7 is defended from JSR Ryan in P, the man that won the Sao Paulo Grand Prix earlier on the season, the man who's got 40 points to his name. But here we go with Milan and Olai. Milan's going defensive on the inside, like Alonso did, I think, with Perez. But Milan Langer has got a 3. Olai has got a 3-second time penalty in this race. He just got the corner on the inside, and it's so frustrating, this track, because it just catches shot in an instant, in a heartbeat. So what a shame there for Olai in P6 to get that penalty on his name.
Yeah, very unfortunate. He just went off track right there, and that meant he got his third strike of this race. So that means Geitkaas now has the advantage if we speak about the medium runners, because Ryan and Olijfolie now both have a 3-second time penalty. Well, Geitkaas doesn't have it, so he has to be careful not to pick up a penalty. As we now see Erik almost dropping Kick out of the DRS. So has Kick over pushed his tires, well wanting to pass Erik on the last couple of laps. It might have been the case for him, so now he either has to save his tires or he's just gonna have to stick behind, because it's still 6 laps to go. So maybe he has overpushed his tires and now he will drop off just a little bit. Hopefully he is not gonna drop off, as Miles is now also just within 7/10. So the gaps are starting to grow just a little bit more, but still a DRS train in the top 3.
Yep, there is 6 laps left to go in this race, and Erik and Kick have been at it for the whole race. It's been their story so far in this race. They've had the whole race in their hands, but it's still yet to be decided, because each of those people in first, second, and third place are holding a trophy with one hand. But there's only, of course, only one driver who can get that trophy, and we'll see who it is. But Mels Makis is most likely not going to get that trophy in P3, because he's been stuck there throughout the whole race, and just hoping and praying that something happens between Kick and Erik as well. And don't forget about the tyres towards the end. I don't think fuel is going to be a major issue around here either, despite having no safety cars or VSC. Finally, as well, conversely to this race from Baku, we had so many safety cars which interrupted the whole race. But this is what I like: a nice, fast flowing race and no interruptions either. Yes, of course, I can accept a safety car too coming out, but not all the time. But the racing standards here in Qatar has certainly improved from what happened in Baku. But of course, in Baku, everybody's on fire, because everybody knows there's a big chance of trying to get up those positions. But Milan Langer in the final corner once again goes defensive on the inside, trying to break the toe from Olai. Where can Olai strike this time? He's right behind him, but he's close enough to make a move going down in towards turn 1. He goes, nope. The answer is still no. He's got to make this move now, because if he doesn't, therefore the mini compound tyres for him will start to suffer, and Milan should be saved from his tyres dropping away. So Olai is desperate to make this move right now to get past Milan and Fireblades too, although Milan doesn't have to defend too hard, because he knows the guy behind has a 3-second penalty. But of course he wants to defend for his pride, of course, stick on the back of Fireblades and try to get P4. This is a much better race for Milan Langer. These two, Fireblades and Milan and Khatikas, all retired back in Baku, but now they're running 4th, 5th and 7th. I think Ryan too retired back in the Baku Grand Prix as well. Yeah, he did. So people inside the top 10, majority of these people retired back at the Baku Grand Prix, and so far running a clean race, which they need as well to try and boost momentum in the championship fight as well in this race. But this fight is still heating up between 1st, 2nd and 3rd. There is 5 laps left to go in this race, and pretty much it's between Erik, Kick and Mels Makis. These 3 have been the main protagonists in this race. These 3 are stealing the spotlight and not to be bothered or threatened by anybody whatsoever. These 2 had the race in their hands. They knew the people in the hard compound tyres at the start didn't have a chance, especially as well with the mini compound tyres just dropping away. DRS wide open again for kicking Erik, and this is all about battery as well towards in the race. Look at the train behind us as well, followed by Fireblades. There's Milan Langer once again under massive pressure from Olai. Can he finally make the move? We said there's plenty of tyres in towards turn 1, but it must be so frustrating having that tyre advantage on the car. But unfortunately, that DRS is becoming a bit of a kryptonite there for Olai, who can't get past him, ironically, into go up towards P5 in turn 2. So he stays behind for the time being then. He's running out of options. The tyres getting worse and worse for him. And unfortunately for him, time is running out to get past him.
Yeah, it's so incredibly hard to overtake around this track, even if you have a big tire advantage. Milan on 14 lap old hards against 7 lap old mediums of Olijfolie, so that's twice the amount of laps that Milan has driven on those hard compounded tires. But now, of course, don't forget, the mediums wear out very quick, as we've seen in the first stint of the medium runner. So right now the tires should be around equal, or starting to get around equal. As Kick, oh, Mels has dropped, he's made a big mistake, and now he's around 2 seconds back. So what's happened to him? And his chances of the win are now gone, or what's happened to him? I don't know. As Kick, oh wait, it glitched. It looked like Kick was also now within 2 seconds of Eric, but it's only 5/10. But Mels clearly has made a mistake, and he's lost a lot of time. I don't know what's happened to him. So now it's Kick versus Eric. So, did you know what happened?
No, mate. I think he just lost time. I don't think there's not enough tyres. Look, he's driving slowly. I think he's on the verge of a puncture. He's driving very slowly. Look at him. There's not fuel problems. There's no fuel light on the car there. So I think he's driving super slow. He knows that this is the end of a line. If he continues to push these hard compound tyres, could his teammate Fireblaze catch? Bearing in mind that Fireblaze is on 1 lap old hard compound tyres, so he's not really in the same. He's in the same boat with his Maki. Look at him. He's driving so slow. He must be on so close. That's what happens when you're in the dirty air. Is he?
AI.
Is he?
Yeah, his steering wheel is probably disconnected. I've seen it many times happening to him before with his Fanatec wheel. So he probably has to restart it pretty quickly.
It doesn't look like AI, because the AI has a little flicker sometimes. It looks like he's driving, but super slow. I've seen it before in Qatar. I've seen it before when somebody's on old tyres and drives super slow to get towards the end. So I don't think he's on AI. I think he's driving on his own. It looks like it anyway, because the AI does a little bit of a flicker situation with the. Yeah, look, it is him driving. He's just driving super slow. And that gap is being brought down by Fireblaze as well. So Mels Makis is in massive trouble. Can Fireblaze get a podium in this race for the first time since he won the Austrian Grand Prix 2 races ago? Can Fireblaze get back up there? Or can Mels Makis survive? But he's on the absolute limit now. He's on the brink of a situation where it could be a puncher or it could be a podium. Which one is it going to be? Mel's going to try and hope a puncher for P1 and P2. We'll see. But here comes Kick once again around the outside of Eric. These two going at it still, but Eric defends the inside line there and keeps Kick at bay. Now, given the tyre situation, how hard are these guys going to fight, knowing that these tyres are on the absolute peak right now, on the absolute knife edge right now in this race? They're coming closer and closer towards puncher territory. They can be super careful. Remember, Eric has suffered in the past with a puncher around here in Qatar as well, so he knows what it's like to get a puncher. But with Kick on the back of his tail, it's not going to do any favours at all. Fireblaze is not really gaining too much on Mels Makis. He's taking a small amount of times away from his advantage in P3. So I think Mels Makis could be safe for the time being. Depends how much slower he drives so far. But you can see he knows, he's accepted his fate now. He just wants to go to the end with a podium. But he's saying to himself, look, I'd rather finish P3 than not finish the points at all. Think about the championship. It's a long way to go this season. So I know I'm close towards puncher territory. I know that if I get a puncher, I'm going to lose a lot of points. So I might as well slow down, and hopefully Fireblaze doesn't catch him either. But Mels Makis there in a big trouble in this race. But we'll keep an eye on the top two. We're coming towards the Portsmouth Grand Prix. It is Eric versus Kick for the win.
Who is gonna come out on top? That's a question. But Geidikas has picked up a 3-second time penalty. So that means Milan still has a chance of getting P4, because everybody behind him has a 3-second time penalty. But can Kick now go for the move on Eric? He's gaining, he's almost out of battery, but he stays behind for the moment. And that means he's gonna come down to the final lap of this race. Is Kick gonna go for the overtake on the final lap, or is he gonna do it on this lap already? Well, there are basically no overtaking opportunities around this track unless Eric makes a mistake. He's so close. He is less than 2 tenths behind, as we now see an Aston Martin going off. I don't know, that's bossy, but that's not irrelevant right now, because Kick is so close, and Mels has dropped off to 5 seconds. He has accepted his fate, like you just said. It's going to be P3 for him, because it seems like he's found back his pace, but he's just not pushing. And now Kick within 4 tenths. How close is his battle going to be in the final lap? They're all now just saving up their batteries for the final lap of this race. Who is gonna come out on top? I'll leave it to you, Jamie.
It's all or nothing now. There's 5.4 kilometers after this lap as well between Kick and Eric. Kick is going for his third win of the season. He's participated twice. He's going for 3 for 3. He raced back in Canada. He raced back in the Chinese Grand Prix. Finished first place there as well after taking pole, but dropping down the order too. But Backy, what a statement drive for him. He was not under massive pressure at all in this race. But this final lap now, with the DRS wide open, could decide who will win this Grand Prix. Is Kick close enough? Is Eric got enough advantage? Here we go. DRS wide open. All the battery in defense and attack mode is being used on this straight, but Kick is not close enough towards Eric, and I think Eric should be safe for the time being, but you never know what could happen on this last lap, because I think drivers could be crawling with some sort of puncture or some sort of issue. But is Kick close enough in these corners to make a lunge at turn 6? Turn 6 is probably the last chance to make an overtake. He's getting right now, coming through turn 4, turn 5. The question is though, can he get the exit he needs to get close enough down the inside towards turn 6? No, he can't. I think Eric should have this covered. Eric should be safe for the time being, unless he makes some sort of mistake. But what a composed, calm drive for Eric. The man has got a podium back at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. 2 races ago, but he hasn't really participated. He's been a reserve driver this season so far, but every time he's raced, he's always put on some good shows and performances as Eric. He could be a true contender for the championship this season, is Eric. But Kick will be denied his third win in a row for him, unfortunately for him, but I don't think he'll mind, because the points do matter. It's a long way to go this season. Miles Mackis, though, tries to keep up with first and second place, but unfortunately for him, he could not do so. He had to drop backwards due to safety and hoping his tires get towards the end, but these two should be fine on tyre wear as they now make their way towards the final couple of corners on this racetrack for the final time in this race. What a race between these two. These two have pretty much had it in their hands so the whole entire race. Never look backwards. And Eric coming towards the final corner. What a mega drive. Eric is about to win the Qatar Grand Prix. He has done it to win his first race here this season in JSR. A podium back in Brazil. A win here in Qatar. Defending from Kings on the whole race. What an excellent drive there for the Dutchman. Miles Mackis P3 defends, and after probably getting a puncture threat, managed to slow the car down and save the tyres. Fireblaze P4, Milan Langer P5 ahead, Olai P6 ahead of Khatikas. Those two made those tyres go towards the end of the race. The two Ferraris, Robert Stefan, haven't really shown much in this race, but quiet so far, and it's been a quiet race, hasn't it? Not much drama, not much action. Oh dear, I left the session. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you disconnected.
Well, at the right time at least.
Yeah, I still can hear you.
The stream is still going, I think. Yeah, I disconnected at the right time, so luckily I'm not really losing much. Can you get the Can you get the race results, please, if you don't mind?
Yep. I will get them. So, what a race it has been. Oh, and Sasha still gets the fastest lap at the end of the race. It's a 22-0 for him. But now, how many points do you get for P8 again?
I don't know, but my mass is
three probably.
Good.
So, that means Kick is the new championship leader of JSR Season 12.
Kick heading on towards great things here. It could be the championship leader towards the end of the race, I'm not quite sure, but we'll see what the possibilities are like. But do you fancy a little podium interview? We'll interview the drivers here, your fellow Dutch compatriots, of course. We can interview them in English. Well, Miles Mackis, you can interview him in Dutch because I know he can't speak English that well, so I'll have the pleasure to interview him. But I'll get the top 3 in the interviews, and hopefully we can speak to them. I'm going to tag them right now. Kick.
As we see, Eric, of course, is the winner. Sasha with the fastest lap. Driver of the day is Fireblaze. My driver of the day goes to Milan after a great comeback. Then it's Rolf with the most overtakes, and Eric is the cleanest driver. So, quickly, just those standings.
Wait, Eric.
Hey, Miles.
Miles and Eric. Milan Langer says he's got 99% tyre wear towards the end, but I think all 3 of you in the party, I think we're just waiting for Eric, of course, the last man here in this party. Eric, you here? No, he's not here. We're just waiting for the race winner. But Eric, who has given us an interview before, and hopefully can again, we're trying to make it more a current thing now, with drivers giving their interviews and getting experience of what happened in the race. But yeah, let's get Eric in here and see what he has to say. But we know the Dutchman doesn't really do interviews. He's a quiet guy, of course, in behind the scenes, but hopefully he can, after what a mega race he's pulled off here in Qatar to defend from Kick, and hopefully we can get him in this qualifying session here. I don't have the thing on when my voice shows on stream. Well, tell him to join the party, and there should be a party setting that says allow voice to be shared. It should be in the party settings. It's literally in the party settings if you go on 3 dots and scroll down. But whilst how that happens, I don't want to waste any more time. Kick, we'll start with you, mate. Well, Kick, you try and go for your 3rd win of the season,
wait,
mate.
Erik comes. Erik comes.
He's coming.
Yeah, he's coming.
We just wait for Eric's arrival here. Take your time, Dutchie. There we go.
Yeah.
There he is.
So,
Erik, precies.
Kick, explain to him in Dutch. So go to the 3 dots in your party screen and go down to party settings and
Oké, Erik. Ga naar je party menu. Ja, en dan die 3 streepjes rechts. Ja, en dan naar instellingen voor spraakchat. En dan kan je je stemdelen toestaan.
Oh.
Als het goed is staat dat er.
Ja, dat staat er aan, ja.
Ja, oké. It's on Jamie.
Alles goed. Alright, so
Yep.
let's get on with these reviews then. Eric, congratulations on another win, mate. Well, your first win here in JSR. I want an absolute drive as well because you managed to get past Kick on the first lap of the Grand Prix. You two were trading places throughout the whole race as well. How skeptical, how nervous were you about the tie towards the end as well, especially with Kick on your DRS the last lap? Did you think that you might lose the victory being in first place on the last lap?
Well, I was certain his engine would have been like 180 degrees at that point, so maybe his last overtake might have been in lap 27 or something. So in the final lap I was clear, I thought, so I had no stress in the end.
It seems like, mate, you're in SDN and JSR, your pace is getting better and better. It seems like you finally found something as well. What have you found comparing what happened last season in other leagues compared to this season? Are you practicing more strategy, your moves, etc.? Are you more calm and composed and know what to do now?
Better internet.
Fair enough. Oh yeah, you did like that a lot.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
really
same for me.
frustrating. Like I had a lot of pace, I knew, but I just couldn't show it because my Wi-Fi kept, like running out. So, yeah.
And talk to us how difficult this race was. How close were you to get a puncher? Were you managing the ties towards the end?
I was managing all race. Like I had no pace, to be honest. So Kick was a lot faster than me, but I was just managing in like turn 5, 6, in like turn 8, the entire race. So.
Well, congratulations on your first win in JSR this season, mate. Absolute amazing job. I think it's your 9th win here in JSR. And the next race is in the Middle East once again. No, it's at the Silverstone Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix. So how do you feel for Silverstone next week?
I have no clue. I hope it rains.
Well, it is raining in the UK right now, I can tell you that for sure.
Oh, okay.
But Evan, got any questions for Eric? You can say it in Dutch or English if you want. I don't mind.
No, I just wanted to say you made no mistakes and that's why you won this race, so good job.
Dankjewel.
Geen probleem. Goed gedaan
probleem.
vandaag.
Thank you.
Geen probleem. Right, we're moving on to Kick in P2 then, the Williams man, who, unfortunately for him, his 3rd win got denied this season, but still put on an absolute fight all the way to the end and never gave up and put the pressure on Eric all the way through. Eric, Kick, talk us through this race, mate. Are you frustrated? Do you think there's anything you could have done towards the end, or are you happy with P2?
I'm happy with P2. The third head on this track is not great, so nice battles with Erik, but it's nothing what I can do. Was tire manager the whole race, so Erik was faster at the end of the race.
Do you think your downforce?
Great battle.
Do you think your straight line speed let you down as well? Because it looks like you had barely any straight line speed. Because Eric was able to keep you at bay even on the one club straight with the DRS and overtake as well. So we didn't have any downforce in this race.
No, I think the dirty air was also a problem this race. So yeah.
Tell us how difficult it is around Qatar.
No, the track limits is good on this track. I had 0 track limits, but yeah, the dirty air is difficult on Qatar.
And the next race is at the British GP, mate. So how do you feel for Silverstone next week? Are you feeling confident? You're on an absolute form so far. 3 podiums in a row. Well, 3 for 3, I must say.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it's nice podiums. Silverstone is not my best track, but we will see. Hope for no rain, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not that good between, but dry is better.
Ivan, you got any questions for Kick?
Of course, you had a lot of a lot of leg spikes during the race, and Jamie and me
Yep.
were kind of scared that you were gonna have another disconnect. So,
Yeah, same for me.
thoughts on that?
Because I count, lap 1, lap middle, yes, I'm safe. All the lap,
So,
yes,
yeah.
I'm safe. All the lap, I'm safe, yeah. My VC is not
Cool.
that bad, not that good, but yeah.
Yeah, and
I finished, I'm so happy.
you're the championship leader right now. So, good job.
I am?
Yeah, because Robbo was P8.
Oh, Robin finished
So-
P8 then?
Yeah,
Ah,
so that's
nice.
the lead for you.
After 3 races, I'm happy then. Yeah, oh, nice.
Well done, Kick, mate. Absolutely brilliant job, and congratulations to be the championship leader. Full deserved. And move
Thanks,
on
Amy.
to the third place man, Miles Backus. Now, Miles, I'm not going to stress you out. So, Ivan, you can ask all the questions to him in Dutch.
Ja,
Nou, Mels, laten we beginnen bij je kwalificatie. Ik had op zich wel wat van je verwacht, maar kwam het niet echt bij elkaar of zo? Of had je gewoon niet zoveel geoefend als dat je normaal deed?
nou ja, nee, het oefenen daar kwam het inderdaad niet bij. En het waren eigenlijk een beetje de eerste rondjes van de dag. Dus dat was eigenlijk sowieso al een beetje het probleem. De kwalie was gewoon echt bizar slecht. Dat was echt bizar slecht.
Oké, ja. Natuurlijk, dan start je in P6 en dan pak je meteen P3. Hoe is dat gebeurd? Want we hadden dat niet echt doorgekregen.
Ja, goed, kijk, de mannen voor mij, ik weet even niet meer wie dat waren, maar die startten allemaal op de hards. En ik kwam veel en veel beter weg. Dus eigenlijk kon ik er fluitend voorbij. En kon ik gelijk mee met Erik en Kik.
Oké, ja, goede start dan. Natuurlijk met die hardrunners die dan nog ervoor zaten. Dan naar eigenlijk het belangrijkste moment voor jou in de race. Je zat er goed bij met Kik en Erik, maar dan... Wat gebeurde er waardoor je zoveel tijd verloor?
Dat was eigenlijk echt puur expres, want ik wist als ik niet mee, dat als ik meereed dat ik het sowieso niet ging halen met mijn banden. En ik had een gat van, ja wat is het, 8 seconden achter me, dus ik dacht, laat ik die tires maar gewoon saven en niet voor het risico gaan. En gewoon, ja, die P3 naar binnen slepen.
Ja,
Hoeveel waren je
precies.
ban aan het einde?
Ja, uiteindelijk nu 75, maar ik reed op een
Ah.
gegeven moment toen had ik echt al 60 of zo, dus. En ik pakte elke ronde wel 5% of zo, dus ik moest wel echt wat rustiger aan gaan doen.
Oké, dus uiteindelijk P3, dus alsnog wel goed gedaan.
Prima.
Goede race, goede pace, dus
Echt prima,
Lekker,
voor
man.
wat ik had het niet verwacht, maar prima dan.
Okay, so Jamie, basically, Mel said he lost a lot of time because he knew the tires weren't going to make it, so he dropped off. So that was the case.
Yeah, I understand. I think I got most of it. One last question in Dutch for me. Heb je genoten van de race?
Ja, ja,
Lekker.
it was a nice race.
Lekker, man. Goed gedaan vandaag.
Yo, thanks man.
Geen probleem. Then that's it for the Qatar Grand Prix. Have you asked him how do you feel about the British GP, Ivan?
Oh no, Mel's
Ja, nee, ik kan ook wel
verwachtingen.
een beetje Engels. No,
Ja, oké.
yeah, Silverstone, it's, I don't know, I hope I hope it's rainy, because
Yeah.
Silverstone, it's, I don't know, you can make the, you can nail the rain at Silverstone, so I hope on rain, but yeah, kick not.
No.
I hope rain at Silverstone because for me it's a rainy circuit, so yeah. And I'm at Silverstone I'm okay in the rain, so we're gonna see.
Guys, I only have one thing to say, and the last time I did comms with Jamie, it was on Silverstone, and then it was like it was a championship decider, and then we had someone named Kaname, and he went absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
I'm trying to search for it, but it's just too difficult.
Basically, I announced somebody as the world
Silverstone
champion.
is-
Oh wait, it was season 17.
Yeah. wait for it, guys. Wait for it.
Anyways,
You've got a
yeah.
video to play. But we'll end it off there, then not to
Oh.
waste any more time. But Ivan, lastly, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure commentating with you once again. This is our second or third time commentating together, and I must say, you're a really good commentator. I really enjoyed working with you today. Thank you so much.
No worries, mate. I had lots of fun with you today, and hopefully we'll do comes many more times in the future.
Yeah, I'll definitely be down for that. Thank you very much, mate. And that's it for the JSR race here in Qatar. It is time to move on back to Europe. It is the British GP for Silverstone at 7 o'clock JSR UK time for round number 6. We'll see you all later. Have a good weekend, and goodbye for now. It is Tuesday, but yeah.